Office politics and a scheming boss cancelled her wedding. The passwords he banned cost them millions. In the cutthroat world of office politics, some bosses play chess while others just knock over the board. But what happens when an employee, pushed to the brink by a scheming manager, decides to play by his own ridiculous rules, and checkmates the entire company for a decade? Welcome to Soul Narratives, where we unravel the intricate webs of workplace drama and explore the very human psychology that drives it. I'm Ashley. Today, we're diving into a story of blatant managerial manipulation, a catastrophically broken promise, and an act of meticulous, rule-abiding revenge that had eye-watering financial consequences. Our story unfolds in a company that decided, like many, to go digital. Paper to pixels. Simple, right? Wrong. This wasn't just a tech upgrade, it was a stage for a manager we'll call genius. Now, genius wasn't just your average incompetent boss. Oh no, he was a master of a certain kind of office politics. The kind where appearing busy and spouting buzzwords to his superiors was more important than actual results. He'd promised them this custom-built digital system would be done on a laughably small budget, a net saving from year one, a classic move to make himself look good, with little regard for the reality his team would face. Enter Sarah, a sharp, hard-working woman on Genius's team. She agreed to lead this Herculean project, but with one crucial, upfront condition: she needed July off. Not for a casual vacation, but for her wedding and honeymoon, a deeply personal, once-in-a-lifetime event. Genius, likely seeing Sarah as a capable pawn to deliver his impossible project, readily agreed. Absolutely, Sarah, consider it done, he'd said, with that practiced managerial charm. The official paperwork, however, always seemed to be pending his final review. One of Genius's many brilliant decrees for this project was about passwords. He'd read somewhere, probably in an airline magazine, that writing down passwords was a cardinal sin. So, for this new, complex system Sarah was building, his rule was absolute. No passwords could be recorded anywhere. Sarah, ever diligent, took this in stride, adding it to her already mountainous list of responsibilities, committing them all to memory. Building the office politics and pressure. As months passed, Sarah toiled. The project was a pressure cooker. Genius, feeling the heat from his own overpromises, would constantly shift blame for delays onto unforeseen technical challenges or lack of specialist skills on the team, never his own chaotic design changes that followed every new tech article he encountered. He was a whirlwind of micromanagement for his team, but a master of illusion for those above him. Sarah, meanwhile, kept gently reminding him about her July leave. Each reminder was met with a breezy, "Of course, Sarah, it's all under control," yet that signature on the leave form remained elusive. Other colleagues watched, some with sympathy, others too intimidated by Genius's political maneuvering and quick temper to speak up. Then, the bombshell. Mid-May. The project is, predictably, a chaotic mess, teetering on the brink, largely due to Genius's visionary, erratic leadership. Sarah is called in. With a chilling detachment, Genius informs her that her July leave is cancelled. The project, his project, demands her presence. Her wedding? Her honeymoon? Just reschedule, Sarah, he said, as if discussing a minor diary conflict. The company needs you. He simply couldn't, or wouldn't, fathom the personal devastation this caused. To him, it was just resource allocation. To Sarah, it was a profound betrayal, a public display of his power over her life, sanctioned by a corporate culture that perhaps too often looked the other way at such strong leadership. Heartfelt moment, then steely resolve. Sarah was stunned. The meticulously planned wedding, the deposits paid, the family flying in, all up in smoke because of her boss's ego and his inability to manage his way out of a paper bag, let alone a complex IT project. But after the initial shock, something shifted within her. A quiet, cold resolve. She didn't argue, didn't plead. She simply nodded, went back to her desk, and continued her work with an almost unnerving focus. She kept the project moving. She meticulously updated the system passwords as required by its evolving architecture and Genius's ever-changing demands. And true to his unshakable, highly secure policy, she never wrote a single one down. Not a hint, not a clue, anywhere. She was the picture of compliance. The last day of June. Sarah calmly submitted her resignation. Effective immediately. No handover. Just a clean, sharp exit. The satisfying climax. A couple of weeks pass. Sarah, having reclaimed her life and presumably her wedding, is on her honeymoon. Her phone buzzes. It's Genius, his voice a cocktail of panic and fury. The project is dead in the water. The entire multi-million-dollar custom system is an impenetrable digital fortress. He's practically screaming, demanding the passwords. Sarah's reply was legend. Cool, calm, collected. I'm sorry, she said, the sounds of a tropical paradise probably audible in the background. I don't work there anymore. Click. The fallout? For Genius, immediate chaos and a career probably singed. For the company, a decade, a full 10 years, of having hundreds of critical electronic case files completely inaccessible. The cost of Genius's on the cheap project, his office politics, and his broken promise? Likely running into the millions in lost data, operational failures, and who knows what other liabilities. All because he banned writing down the passwords, and one employee decided to follow his rules perfectly. At the heart of this is a profound abuse of power and a complete disregard for what psychologists call the psychological contract. This isn't just about Sarah's wedding. It's about the unspoken, mutual understanding of respect and fairness that should exist between an employer and employee. Genius didn't just break a promise. He shattered Sarah's trust and sense of professional dignity. When that contract is violated so egregiously, the emotional fallout can be immense, leading to feelings of betrayal, anger, and a deep need for justice. Genius's behavior, his overconfidence, his blame-shifting, his inability to see Sarah's perspective, screams of narcissistic traits often seen in toxic leaders. Such individuals often lack empathy, require excessive admiration, and exploit others to achieve their own ends, all while maintaining a facade of competence, often by skillfully playing office politics. He wasn't leading, he was ruling through intimidation and manipulation. And Sarah's response? Her malicious compliance by strictly adhering to the no written passwords rule is a fascinating psychological defense mechanism. When individuals feel powerless against an oppressive system or authority figure, they might find ways to resist covertly. By following the letter of a flawed law, knowing it will lead to a negative outcome for the oppressor, they regain a sense of agency and control. It's a human way of saying, "You want rules? I'll give you rules," and exposing the absurdity and injustice of the situation. This story is a wild one, and it really makes you think about the power dynamics in our workplaces. I'm curious about your experiences. Have you ever worked under a genius, a boss who was more about office politics and self-promotion than actual leadership? How did their scheming affect the team's morale and productivity? When have you seen a company's own ridiculous rules or a manager's ego backfire spectacularly? What were the consequences? And what are your thoughts on Sarah's silent revenge? Was it a justifiable masterstroke in a toxic situation, or do you think there are other ways to fight back against workplace manipulation? Share your stories and insights in the comments below. Let's talk about these office battlegrounds. And if you appreciate this kind of storytelling and analysis, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thank you for joining me at Soul Narratives today. It's a stark reminder that in the game of office politics, sometimes the most quietly played moves have the most lasting impact. True leadership respects individuals, not just project timelines. Until next time, navigate those currents wisely.